Hi friends, my name is Maylin and welcome back to my channel. I'm a flutist music teacher and performer located in the city of Toronto, and this is my series where we learn how to play the flute from scratch. So thank you for joining me here again today. In this video we'll be learning how to play dotted quarter notes, so if you're interested, just keep watching. If you do have any issues when it comes to practicing, feel free to check out my free practice guide, linked down below. It gives you 8 really easy steps to follow to help you to get more productive practice sessions. And of course, if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section down below. Alright, so let's just get right into it. So of course, we'll be reading from my favorite book, as per usual, the Trevor Wise Beginner's Book, Flute Part 1. And we'll be starting off on page 26 again, where we left off with the last video. So what we're going to do is we're going to be playing the dotted quarter, also known as the dotted crochet. So that's what, again, in England they use crochet for the quarter notes. So that's how you'll be seeing it here written in the book. So I'm going to put up the first exercise right up here. So introducing the dotted crochet. First, play this exercise. So we're just going to do, just like we would do any of our normal exercises, we'll do with a normal clap and count, and then I'll play it for you so you can do it a few times for yourself. So we don't have any key signature this time, we only have the time signature, and we don't have a tempo marking. So we're going to take it at a relatively comfortable, moderate speed. So I'm going to count 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. And then also, again, I'm not going to be doing any of the repeats, so please do that at your own discretion. So I'm going to play it now, and don't forget that we do have the accents now. So we have the accents on the first beat of the first 3 bars. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that is that exercise. Try to do it a few times if you feel like you're a little bit uncomfortable with it. Now I'm going to put up the next exercise right over here. Now play the exercise again with the first 2 notes tied together. So in your head, what I want you to do is I want you to hear how we've been clapping it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to play it without playing that first quarter note. So it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3. So I want you to try that a few times. Really make sure in your head you're counting 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And that'll really help you to line up where you release the 1, the beats 1 and 2, and so you can get there for the and of 2 and 3. All right. So what you just did was you played a dotted quarter note. So congratulations, that's all it is. So as a reminder, the dot added to any note adds half of the value of the note it's beside. So in this case, for the dotted quarter, half of a quarter note, as we know, is an 8th note. So that would mean that we would have beats 1 and plus beat 2. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to play the exact same thing, but we're going to look at it as if it were written as properly. So I'm going to put it up right over here. So again, make sure you're counting it the exact same way as you were before. Now you're just going to be reading it with the dot. So the reason why we do that is just because it's easier to read. As you can imagine, if you're reading a really long piece and you're seeing all these different ties, it can be really confusing and really just straining. So this is a very simple way to read any of those tied notes otherwise. Okay, so again, I'm going to play it for you. It's going to be exactly the same. However, it's going to be with the dotted quarter written right above. So 1, 2, and 3. All right, so be sure to practice this a few times over until you really feel comfortable with keeping the counting in your head while you're playing. It's going to be really important for the next few exercises. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're actually going to play a piece with the dotted quarter. So I'm going to put it up right here. It's called National Anthem. So again, we're still in 3/4, and if you take a look at the key signature, we do have F sharp there. So that means we are in G major. All right, so what we are going to do is we're going to clap it, and we're going to make sure it's nice and slow. And then, of course, as always, you can always bring it up to speed afterwards. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so what you can do is if you're still having issues with that rhythm, what I want you to do is I want you to write exactly what Mr. Y has done in the previous exercises. So write down where B1 is, write down where the and is if you want, 2, and, so the and of B2, and then 3, just so that you can line it up and count it in your head. All right, so now I'm going to play it for you so you can get it in your ear. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so one of my tips for this particular exercise is to really be careful with, again, the duration of the quarter note and the eighth note. So I have a lot of students that have a tendency to either cut the dotted eighth note a little bit short, or so the dotted quarter note short. So maybe 1, 2, and 3. So it might feel a little bit weird. And then also there's a tendency to keep it a little bit too long so that you make the eighth note too short. So make sure it's all very even. And if you want to, you can use a metronome to help you with the subdivision. So something that's going to help you with the 1 and 2 and 3 and that would be a great tool to help you in this case to make sure that you're lining up and counting it properly in your head. Alrighty, and then the last thing that we're going to be doing with this video today is we're going to be learning the melody here on page 27 in G major. If you have the book, you can do the exact same thing, and it also has it in F major as well. So that'd be a great exercise to try it in both key signatures. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put it up, and Mr. Y has a little blurb written here, so I'm just going to read it for you here. So first and second time bars. Sometimes a repeated phrase has a different ending. Play the first 6 bars and repeat. On the second time through, omit the first time bar and play the second time bar instead. So this might be a little bit tricky for you to read through. Essentially what you're doing is instead of repeating it exactly the same both ways, the ending changes from the first time you play it and the second time. That's all it is. So the first time, as you can imagine, is when you're first reading it through. So when you first read it and you repeat it, play the first ending. The second time you repeat it, instead of playing the first ending, so the bar with the bracket and the 1, you're just going to skip to the bracket and the 2. That's it. Very straightforward. So we're going to take a look here at the time indication. So this is lento. As a reminder, lento does mean slow or slowly. We have our time signature, 3 quarter notes. So 3 quarter notes per bar, 3, 4. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, this is in G major. So what I'm going to do is clap and count. I am not going to clap and count with the repeats. I will play it with the repeats for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clap it and do the first ending. So 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, and so the only thing I would change is that with that second ending, instead of doing a quarter note, you would just rest. So it'd be that half note, and that's it. Okay, so I'm going to play it for you now. 1, 2, and 3. good. And if you notice what I did the second time is I played it a little bit more softly than the first time, and that's because if you look underneath the first ending there, it just says repeat softer. So that means the second time you want to repeat it a little bit quieter. Amazing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the teacher's part for you so you can play the student part over top. So again, we have another cute little duet. So I'm going to take it again at the very same tempo. 1, 2, 3. Alright, very good. So that's going to be it for the video today. As always, if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comment section down below. And again, if you are having any issues with practicing, feel free to check out my really easy downloadable practice guide, also linked in the description. And if you're interested in any online lessons, I do have some space, so you can check me out at www.maylinjenkins.com. So thank you so much again for joining me here. And just as a little sneak peek, in the next week's video, we're going to be learning about E flat and D and how to play enharmonic notes. So thank you again for joining me here today, and happy fluting!